What are your big idea you've gotten so far? Big idea since this morning. Big idea?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Awesome. Is it too basic? Or do we uncover why it's not basic? What's that? It's not basic, is it?
No.
Right? But it sounds basic. You know? What other big idea did you guys get today?
The buyer deed.
Buyer's consultation. Awesome. Please.
My biggest takeaway was how to, so for instance, like how you had mentioned, like what to do if a buyer feels like they have the wrong agent, they want to come to you. Because I get that a lot, and I don't mean to. And I don't want
You don't mean to.
Well, because
I mean to all the time.
I don't want to feel unethical. Like I feel
Why is that
guilty,
unethical?
You know, so that's why I
Wait, pause. That's the piece. Why is that unethical? If I'm talking with you,
work into, like,
but they're not doing it right. Is my mic on?
I'd like to say something.
Wait. Just one quick second, real quick, April. Here's the thing, and just give me 1 second. Here's the thing. If they're not taking care of the client right, it's because they are not what? They're not what?
asking questions.
They're not pursuing what?
Finding the need.
They're not pursuing what? Mastery. So if they're not pursuing mastery, whose fault is that? Is that your fault? Is that their fault?
Yes, that's their fault.
Okay. So if you're pursuing mastery and you're turning yourself over to the service of other people, do you deserve to get paid?
Of course.
Do you make the choice to have them come to you, or do they make the choice?
They make the choice.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If you're serving somebody at an absolute high level, do you think the competition has a chance of taking them away from you?
No.
Are you sure? Do you need a buyer broker agreement, or do you not even need one?
I don't.
And you mean your clients don't just leave you in the middle of a car? Why?
Because
You're
give them the best
serving
service
at a high
possible.
level. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
So for instance, this past open house, I had buyers coming in, and next thing he was like, oh, I take my time with each one, and I get to know their family situation and all that.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I really want this house. I want to put in an offer, whatever. I was like, okay, And
Got to talk a little louder.
He's like, but I have an agent already. Is there any way I can switch over to you? And I'm like,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
And I was like, well, technically it's kind of, I feel like unethical. So, but if you want, it's up to you. It's your choice, And I was like, how long have you been working with this agent? He was like, a few months now. She's been showing.
It's usually months.
Yeah, and then.
If it was hours, then I would say
Yeah,
probably give them
he
at
was
least the
saying-
end of the day.
He was like a few.
Right? If it was hours, I'd probably give them till the end of the
Yeah,
day.
he's like a few months now and all this, and I was like, you know what? Let the agent know you're interested in submitting an offer, and if she doesn't.
We
take
need
care
to
of
work
you-
together more.
If she doesn't take care of you, give me a call. I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
Wow.
And then and he gave his agent a chance, and we're actually pending right now. So that
Yeah.
easily could have been my own buyer. I could have double.
No. That was your buyer.
I know.
You
but
gave the buyer back.
I know. See, that's what I know personally. I know that's the part where I need to work on because
Well,
I'm always thinking
so
about the other person.
can I be honest with you, even if you don't necessarily like what I say?
Yes.
Probably not supposed to say that in front of a group. The biggest challenge you're having in your business is understanding the value that you bring. You know how I know that? Because I have the same problem. You guys with me? I have the same problem. It's understanding your value, because if you're growing at a high level, what happens to your value? Are you getting more and more value?
More valuable.
Right? More valuable, right? Because you continue building. I had one of my business partners saying, you don't know your value. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, does the community, does the agent population know that you work Monday through Friday? No. I'm telling me. Does the agent community or the people that you're working with, do they know that you work Monday through Friday? Actually, I take that back. Tuesday through Friday. And that you stop working at around 4 o'clock, and you don't work nights, and you don't work weekends, and you sell 12 to 15 times the amount of homes as the average agent. That means I could sell more, yes or no?
Yes.
I could sell more, yes or no, right? So he said, you found a system, Joey, and on top of that, you're doing trainings, and you're speaking, and you're doing all this other stuff, and you're still doing that. we know what we want, but we don't know what we need. So I needed him to say, re-look at your value, right? And you know what? He's right. And now I work less and less. Because now I want to figure out, first in this business, you grow this real big business, and then you want your time back, right? Or am I the only one? Right? And then, but buying your time back is harder than it was to build a business not having time, right? Because we go from a job, or we go from a job to we go from having a job to owning a job. Make sense? So value, you need to determine your value. I would get a piece of paper and I'd say, what value do I bring? What were you going to say, April?
I'm going to say that buyers and sellers don't belong to anyone. Even when the seller has a listing agreement signed, they could still be dissatisfied and call you up to come out and execute the listing. Buyers, they don't belong to anybody unless they've signed a buyer's representation.
Yes, exactly.
They fire and hire people all the time. And if they see the value in you and want to work with you, why would you want to stop? It's up to they want to hire you and be honored by that. So it is not, ethics don't come into this at all. What's unethical is if someone comes, I'm working with an agent and everything, and you say, oh, that's okay, I worked with him, let me write the offer for him. That's unethical.
Because you're lying and yeah,
lying.
exactly.
But if they want to work with you, and I know this well, I sit on the grievance committee at SAR. So, again, they don't belong. It's not, you don't own them.
Sorry.
Nobody owns them.
Yeah, exactly.
They are the employer. They're employing you.
Yes, exactly. Give her a hand for honesty. And thank you, April, for bringing that to the attention. Here's the thing is that's your blind spot in your business right now.
I know that.
See? Yes, and we just and it's okay.
You're halfway there.
You're halfway there, exactly. Exactly. Please.
I just wanted to add to that was you said that you felt bad for the other agent.
Yeah.
But do you feel bad for the buyer that ends up buying the wrong house for $300,000+?
Or they keep missing out on a house.
You know, one of my favorite scripts is, you know, when they give me pushback and they tell me they've been looking for a home for 9 months, and I'll look at them, I says, and they're justifying this person that's been working for them, but they're not getting the result that they were hired for, right or wrong. And sometimes you have to ask them, the question I have, mainly, right? The question I have to ask you mainly is, how long are you going to not put your family first? But you got to be real careful. It's kind of like brake in case of emergency. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Good service doesn't feel good. Right? Do you want me to be honest? I just asked you if I can be honest with you. That's what I say. You know, if the first doctor would have told me, Joey, I'm going to dig a little deeper, I probably would have kicked and screamed. I probably would rather have him not tell me anything, just dig deep to begin with. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
The thing is, I want to master at my craft. And you are doing a disservice to the real estate community if you're not sharing your value with more people. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Give her another hand. Next piece. It's about connection, not perfection. It's about connection, not perfection. The moment you change your perspective and realize it's not about sounding perfect, it's about connecting. It's about connecting. Your business is going to shift leaps and bounds. Because if you try to sound like I sound, you're always going to be second best. You guys with me?
Yeah.
You're never going to sound like I sound. You're going to be second best. Because that's me. Are you with me? When I started training and speaking, this buzzword kept going around saying, you got to find your voice. You got to find your voice as a speaker. You got to find your voice as a speaker. So, well, how do you do that? Well, keep speaking. Keep speaking. Keep speaking. Training is speaking. Training is speaking. Well, I've done that. And I've done that for thousands and thousands of hours. And now my voice is the things that I'm always saying the same all the time, no matter what arena I'm in. Whether I'm in a personal conversation, whether I'm in front of a group, whether I'm coaching someone, or I'm helping somebody through a struggle. It's the same things I'm saying. That's my voice. You have a voice. You guys with me? The best way to establish that voice is turn yourself over to the service of other people and be impressed what flows through you. You guys with me on that? Not about connection, it's about perfection. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met a salesperson that had an impeccable presentation? I mean, they did not make a mistake on anything. Not me. I just got eliminated there. Right? They did not make a mistake on anything. They were probably so tailored. Did you buy something? Yes or no? Did you buy something? Yes or no?
Yes.
Or did you feel that they might be hiding something from you because they're too tailored? And they're not making any mistakes. Exactly. But here's the thing. There's some salespeople that try to sound perfect. And what I'm saying to you is sounding perfect breeds distrust. I want you to think about that for a minute. Sounding perfect breeds distrust. Right or wrong? So why are you trying to be perfect? So it's about connection and not perfection. Perfect. Next point. Give them, blank number 1, give them what they think they need. I don't know what's going on with my mic. Give them what they think they need. And then when you see them, give them what you know they need. What does that mean? Well, I learned that from the speaking business. In the speaking business, Les Brown said one time, he says, when you write a talk, you write the title, you give them what they think they need, and then when you see them, you give them what they know they need. And boy, did I realize how much that worked and how applicable was it in my sales profession. So what do they think they need? They think they need a good deal. Problem is, what you think a good deal is, what I think a good deal is, we all have a different idea what a good deal is, yes or no? Right? Next, they think they need best price. What you think is a best price, what I think is a best price, is it different, yes or no? Next, they think they need more info. They need more info. Right? They also think they need to see a lot of homes. I need to see more homes. I need to see more homes. I've only saw 33. I need to see more homes. Right? That's what they think they need, right? What do they need? They need to be led. They need somebody to lead them. You guys with me? They need to be led, number 1. Number 2, they need help controlling their emotions. You guys with me? That's what they need help with. Is this emotional business, yes or no? Yes. If you're not taking time to figure out how to control them, then that becomes an issue, correct? Yes. They need consumer confidence. They need to know that they have enough information to make a decision that they're not going to regret. They need consumer confidence. You guys with me? Your buyer's consultation should give them the confidence that when they see a listing, they're going to call you, and this is what the conversation sounds like. Hey, Joey, I found a house, but it looks like it's too good to be true. What do you mean? Well, I think it should sell around $330, but it's priced at $299. This is the kind of calls I get. Why? Because when they leave the house, when they leave my office, they know the dollar per square foot, average dollar per square foot. They know exactly what to expect. They know average square footage that they should get because we went through that. We went through that. Does that make sense? So is your client, is your buyer that knowledgeable? One of my favorite lines is, I will teach you things that most agents don't want you to know. Can my competition replace that? Nope. Make sense? Does that build value? Yes. Is there mind reading in that? Kind of. Does it build a strong bond? Yes. Am I giving you steps of working with buyers? Have I given you steps yet? Okay. How to get more buyers. Have I helped you get more buyers? Maylee, have I helped you get more buyers? Yes. Maylee, have I showed you how many buyers you're letting go and giving back? Say yes. How to best serve clients. Am I showing you how to best serve clients? Yeah. Am I showing you how to differentiate yourself? Yeah. And I am showing you some NLP. Next, am I helping you identify motivated buyers at open houses? Yes or no? Yeah. Yes. Am I helping you filter and sort? Yes or no? If somebody's not willing to engage with you and give you the information or the answers you're looking for, then they're probably not somebody you want to work with. Just give me, here's my email address. And I love it when it's a gentleman that I'm talking to, and I ask him for his telephone number. You know what I tell him? Just so you know, man, I'm not looking for a date. I tell him that because it works always best. I'm not looking for a date. And they start laughing. Listen, I'm asking you for your phone number because in the event I find the perfect house that might not be in the market, I'd like to let you know. Is that okay? If they say no to that, do I want to work with them? Wait a minute, what do you want me to email you? Let me email you. Why don't we just go on Facebook and you can look at all my wonderful pictures of my life. I want to sell homes. Make sense? Questions on that? Questions on that? Did I miss someone? Okay, cool. Okay, so it's
Curiosity question.
yes, please.
Regarding your
I'm trying to see where my schedule is. Bam! Look at that. Sweet. Doing good. That's really perfect and tailored, isn't it? So I'm like, cool.
With you and your team, are you with your buyers, when you find one after the consultation, et cetera, and you're ready to take them to see homes, just prior to taking them to see homes?
Yeah.
Are you
Excuse me.
sending them homes to look at in advance and let them choose? Or are you guys finding the homes that you've identified through the learning process of the buyer's consultation and say, here's the 5 we're going to see?
I cut all
You
the
say,
fat.
Here's
Yeah.
20. Which ones do you want to see?
Well, here's the thing, Johnny, is I cut all the fat off where all they have left is meat. Does that make sense? So if I'm doing a search for them and any more than 10 properties come up, there's too much fat around the meat. Are you with me? It needs to be really, because do you want to look through 33 properties? Right? But if you do the consultation, you're able to narrow it down. When they're done with me, they know what we were looking at. We're looking at Elk Grove, we're looking at Natomas, we're looking at Folsom. They know where their money is best pointed to. They know where they get the most house. You with me? I need them to know that. Do they need to know that? Do you want buyer's remorse? Is that going to help you get referrals? Say no.
No.
Right? They know that. So it's about narrowing and narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. I'll send them properties, but I'm usually, depending on the clients, maybe Jason can piggyback, I'm CC'd on what they see. But usually I've given them enough tools to eliminate them. They don't want to see a lot of homes.
Okay. All right.
That make sense?
Well, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Just some agent strategies say, here's the 3 we're going to go look at today. And they haven't even...
And you can do that, but here's the problem. If you don't give them that tool, they're going to wander.
Totally.
And they're going to wander, and it's the wild, wild west out there right now.
That's right. Okay.
Please.
If you don't mind. So I have another problem, I guess, that I deal with. Our company's small, but we've been around for a while, and it's all based on referral basis. And I have.
So, with all respect, do you mind pulling me aside? Is it about the topic that we're talking about?
It is. It's about, I guess, having too many buyers and sellers.
Okay.
And not being able to service them.
So here's.
I'm being serious.
Just meet me right out after the break, and I will fix that problem. That's a bad problem.
No,
You need help.
I refer them out to our other agents, but then they still come back to me. I want to work with you only.
So just pull me aside, and I will help you fix that problem. Okay? I'm actually serious.
Oh.
Pull me aside. I'll help you fix that problem. Okay? Just because of time frames, and I want to make sure I get through all of it, so you guys all feel you got your money's worth. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next. My goal is to make some adjustments to how you communicate. Have I made adjustments?
Yeah.
Right? There's this game with it's a white ball. It's got little dimples on it. And you hit it with some metal rod. And you wear these really funky clothes when you're out there. And it moves way too slow for me because I get distracted. But here's the thing is, if you hit that ball just 2 millimeters off, what happens to the ball? It goes, in the trajectory as it gets out there is what? Hundreds of yards out of place. So if we can it's the smallest shifts in your business that will give you the most explosive growth. Smallest shifts. I remember hearing this from a producer that came out, and I was in a mastermind, and I was so angry at the rest of the world after I heard this, because he said, the difference between a $5 million producer and a $30 million producer has nothing to do with skill. When he said that, I was like, what? He goes, the difference between a $5 million producer and a $30 million has nothing to do with skill. The difference is the $5 million producer doesn't have enough resources to have a staff to keep their processes going. Does that make sense? So that means they'll have like 2 or 3 really good months in a year. And the $30 million has 6 to 7 good months out of the year. Are you with me? It's easy to have a great month. It's hard to have a great month, month after month. You guys with me? And I was angry at the world because it took me 3 years to get between 5 million and 10 million, doubling that. It took me 3 years to get there. I kept hitting the ceiling. And it was just huge. And I was like, that was another freedom moment. Are you guys with me? When you're pursuing mastery, you'll have a lot. Write that down. When I'm pursuing mastery, I'll have freedom moments. And then, then I talk to myself. I say, well, that's what I get. That's what I get. I said I want to be a speaker and a trainer. That's what I get. I get all these stories of struggle, stories of challenges, stories of failing year after year after year before I get the result I'm looking for. So I can stand in front of a group and tell them how I miserably failed. You guys with me?
What was that said? When I'm pursuing mastery.
I forgot. It's on video. I'll tell you later. I forgot. Freedom moments. I told you that when you turn yourself over to the service of other people, I'm less impressed with who? With me, and I'm impressed with what flows through me. Yeah. 2 people heard that. Okay. Next, what is the difference between an order taker or a salesperson? Uh-oh. The SCs, we're about to go through a battle right now. What is the difference between an order taker and a salesperson? What is the difference? That's what we're going to talk about right now. There's order takers and there's salespeople. Okay? We have to uncover the differences. So as I write here, an order taker is someone who's in the right place at the right time and just takes the order. Often at a price the buyer has convinced the agent what the home is worth. That's not sales, that's order taking. I hear the SCs right now. Well, that's not me because I'm not a salesperson. Okay, well, can we have a difficult conversation? This is really important. We need to define what sales is. Was the first doctor that did this procedure on me, were they a good salesperson? Were they a master? Did they really know enough about their craft? Right? So that's what you get when you get an order taker. That's what you get when someone is preoccupied and they're not masters in their craft. Right? A salesperson is someone who is turning a good salesperson. There's good ones and there's bad ones. Obviously, the whole content this whole day was about turning yourself over to the service of other people. So am I talking about manipulation? Am I talking about getting people to do something against their will? Or am I talking about, April, if you really want this house, and the house is in tip-top shape, it's the best home that we've seen, and you got all these homes that all need work, and you got the best homes that are at 360, what are you going to have to do to get the offer? What are you going to have to do to get it? Well, I'm not offering 360. Hey, if you're okay with a no, I'm okay with a no. I have to do that because you know why I have to do that? I am not going to give her the chance to blame it on me when she doesn't get her house. I am not going to give her that chance. That's your problem, not mine. But if I don't show her the information, then whose problem is? Right? And I'm opening myself up to what? To losing my buyer, Maylee. To losing my buyer. I don't like to lose my buyer.
Sharing's caring.
Sharing's caring. Oh, that's right. You share with me. On page number, which page is it? I offer 30% referral. Let's see what page that's in. Let me see. We're going to take a break out for a commercial. It's on page 14. Page 14. It says Joey Satariano and Associates, your Sacramento referral connection. If you exceed it to a higher level, I can increase that referral fee. We should talk after break. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. Well, you can leave. The best part is coming soon, but you can leave. You can leave, no problem. Is that okay if she leaves? Do you think she should leave?
I already pushed it back like 2 hours. So.
Well, my goal is to make sure that you don't want to leave.
That's what happened.
My goal is to make sure that I give you so much value, you want to keep coming back.
The best part is still coming. It comes at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Sam's been with me. When you buy Cracker Jacks, why do we buy Cracker Jacks as kids? I'm about to age myself. Why do we buy Cracker Jacks as kids? Because of what? That really fancy, high value toy that's in there, right? The prize in the box. It's coming. It's coming. Exactly, the temporary tattoos. Exactly. A salesperson is someone who's selling the buyer on the excuse me, I'm going too fast. Too much coffee. A salesperson is selling somebody on the idea that buying now is the right thing to do. Right thing to do for them, right? Asking the questions, right? Selling is helping a prospect solve their what? Their inner conflict. Mainly, those clients' inner conflict is not solved. And that's why they want to go with you. But I think you should keep giving away. Give them away here. I'm closer. Okay? The inner conflict, we're moving on. The inner conflict is what causes emotional reluctance. The inner conflict is what causes the emotional reluctance, which is the next blank, and fear to act. So let me say that sentence again. Okay? This is right after the salesperson is someone, right? Next sentence. The inner conflict is what causes. Make sure we're in the right spot. I don't want to make those SCs mad at me again. Are we in the right spot, Arvin? Okay, good. Right here. Perfect. The inner conflict is what causes emotional reluctance and fear to act. You guys get that? How do we do that? By understanding the buyer's most common objections, fears, and apprehensions, and guiding them down the road of self-discovery. The thing in our industry, in the training and coaching part of our business, is they don't talk about controlling people's fears, yes or no? Do they talk about controlling people's fears, yes or no? The answer is no. They're talking about what? Objections. Objections, right? Objections are great, but objections are just questions that move forward. Fears and apprehensions are causing people not to buy right now, are causing people to be filled with fear that they're going to make a mistake, right? Or they're causing sellers to be fearful that they're going to make a mistake. What's more important, objections, controlling objections, or controlling fears and apprehensions? So guess what? That's where I differentiate myself. I differentiate myself as a trainer and a speaker because I want to teach you guys the nuances that will help you connect with people at a high level. You with me? We're taking time today to sharpen our axe so sharp that I want to give you guys the most common fears, the most common apprehensions, and the most common objections, and encourage you to step into mastery and incorporate all that stuff in your presentation, in your consult. Well, Joey, where's the consult start? The consult starts the first time you talk to a buyer, or when they are like offering to leave their current agent that aren't doing a good job and go to you, is you actually take them. You don't give them back to the mediocrity. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the whole group. Jeez. Take it personally? What the heck's that all about? Guys with me? Scripts serve many purposes, from earning a client to navigating through a transaction to closing a deal. I'm all excited. I'm on point. 6 minutes left. Let me say it again. Scripts serve many purposes, from earning a client to navigating through a transaction to closing a deal. I don't do deals. I help people find homes. Well, then you can just put to find a home. Okay? The purpose of a buyer's consult, okay, good. The purpose of a buyer's consult is to help the buyer understand the market they're buying in. Understand the market they're buying in. Here's the deal. I could share with you all my successes. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to impress you. Or I can share my failures with you and leave an impact on you. I choose to share failures. That's a differentiator for me. I choose to share with you guys all the things I do wrong in order to help you guys avoid those. My first month in the business, I wrote 11 contracts my first month. 11 contracts. I didn't even know how to spell the word real estate. I went on, this is when our contract writing software This is serious malpractice, by the way. Our contract writing used to be on the desktop. It wasn't online. No, this is not dinosaur days. This was only 15 years ago, okay? Relax, okay? So I would go to the desktop. I'd share computers. I'd go to the desktop that my mentor would use, and I'd pull up one of his contracts, and I would change the buyer's name, and I would change the price, and that was it. And the address, yeah, exactly. Probably made a mistake. I'm sure I wasn't going to really bring that part up, Chris, but thanks for bringing it up. And that's what I did. Exactly. So I wrote 11 deals the first month in the business. The challenge was my mentor didn't let me know how to control their fears, how to control their apprehensions, how to control any of that stuff. So guess at the end of the month, guess how many closed? 0. The next month, doing it again. Guess how many closed? 0. He didn't tell me to call the lender. He didn't tell me to do any of that stuff. He said, just write them and move on. That was an old school way of doing business. You guys with me? So I'm here to tell you that I learned how to keep transactions together because I figured out all the reasons why they fall apart. Welcome to the Buyer's Mastery Training by Joey Satariano. You guys with me? So that's not an impressive start of the story. But what I tell you guys, when you turn yourself over to speaking and training, you're blessed with all these great opportunities of all these failures over and over again. Where you're sitting on the couch because your whole abdomen feels like it was sliced open, and you hear in your head, this is a good story to share with your group. I'm like, really? Can I just have a break? No. You're the one that told me you want to be a speaker. So I've already had psychological help. And they say that I'm only crazy 29% of the time. And that's usually it happens after the time of noon, 12:30. So we're getting close to that time. Questions on that? So let me read that sentence again. The purpose of a buyer's consult is to help the buyer understand the market they're choosing in. Number one that I want you to underline after that is setting expectations. This is the last paragraph on page 5, setting expectations. And then underline speaking to the most unspoken conversations in the minds of the buyer and guide them down the road of self-discovery through the process. You see how it's all tying together? Do you see how we started with the mindset piece of it? We started with figuring out how to build, and now we're starting to put a bow on it. Even though I'm a high D, I promise I'm getting somewhere. And if I forget where I'm going, I will ask someone to let me know. If I drift too far away from land, I'll ask someone. You guys make sense? How much time do we have here? So we have 3 minutes. So obviously you realize that one of my favorite scripts is what?
Tell me more about that.
Tell me more about that. That script should be in all of your dialogues. You know why you use that script? Use that script because you don't know what to say. So write that down. When I don't know what to say, I say, tell me more about that. I won't let you be quiet. Right? Tell me more about that. Make sense? Great script. Because here's the bottom line is, there's a book called When I Stop Talking, You'll Know I'm Dead by Jerry Weintraub. It's a great book. Jerry would sit there. I'm going to close with this story, and then we're going to grab some lunch. Jerry would sit there, and when he talked to people, he didn't know what he was going to say. So he would keep talking, right? And he didn't know what he was going to say. And then eventually, something would come up at the right time. So I love the story about Frank Sinatra, because he met with Frank Sinatra, and it's about 9:30 in the morning. He's in the hotel with Frank, and this is on video, but this is a story I read in the book, so it's not. I'm just relaying the message. Don't get mad at me. Those of you that are viewing at home, is at 9:30. He's like, Frankie, what are you doing drinking alcohol at 9:30 in the morning? He's like, I'm depressed. I think I'm just going to give up this whole singing thing. This is Frank Sinatra. I think I'm going to give up this whole singing thing. Well, Jerry's a producer. He's like, this isn't a good idea. This is going to hurt me, right? So he said, Frankie, what's going on? He goes, I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it, right? And he goes, you can't quit. He's trying to do everything he can. He keeps talking, right? And then finally in the middle, he goes, Frankie, you can't quit. I have the most amazing event planned for you. He still doesn't know what event it is, right? He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, I got an amazing, amazing event. And if you quit, you're going to miss out. And he's still waiting. He's still waiting to get something, some approach, right? What is he doing? He's trying to talk him out of what? Inner conflict, right? So it clicks. He goes, Frankie, if you promise me right now that you don't quit, I'll tell you what the event is. He goes, okay, tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. He goes, you got to promise me. He goes, I need to hear first. He goes, we're going to put a boxing ring in the middle of New York City. And in that boxing ring, I'm going to have you come out. And you're going to be introduced as a heavyweight champion of the world when it comes to music. And you're going to come out. We're going to have some music, and then we're going to release you, and then that's going to be the opening to your concert. And Frank Sinatra looks at him. He goes, now that is an amazing idea. And he literally talks him out of his inner conflict. If you're drinking at 9:30 in the morning, are you depressed? Yes or no? For those of you, I know those of you in the room that says it's 5 o'clock somewhere, that's not what I'm talking about. Only 3 people laughed. If you're drinking at 9:30 in the morning, is that you're depressed? Yes or no? Yes. So the bottom line is, did he serve him? Yes or no? Yes. Is he turning himself over to the service of other people? Yes or no? Right? And what happened is he was trying to get him from making one of the biggest mistakes of his life. Make sense? So when I tell you, turning yourself over to the service of other people, the right approaches, I'm backing it up. Are you with me? So, has this been a great training?